Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little basket here. It's about 6 inches tall and probably about 6 or 7 inches tall by 6 or 7 inches wide. It's actually pretty easy. It's made with a type of Chevron versus wave stitch. How about that? And you can make it in any colors that you choose. Now it is standing on its own, and it is made with a 4-weight yarn. So if you want to make it, I mean, it stands pretty good on its own, but if you want to, I mentioned in the end, if you want to make it stiffer, you could always use fabric stiffener or something like that. But yeah, it holds my yarn okay, whatnot. Well, if I could get it in there correctly. But anyways. So yeah. You could do whatever you want with it. Decorations, give it to someone, add a handle on it. Make it a bag flip it the opposite direction. Add a bigger brim. Make it a slouchy hat. It would probably work for that as well. But the bottom I made with the herringbone stitch because it's a little more sturdier than this regular double crochet, so I thought maybe that would be a better option since I was not using cotton yarn. Now cotton yarn of course would have been stronger, but that's okay. I think this is for tutorial purposes only. I don't know, I might give it to my sister, but she'll use it the way it is. I might put some fabric stiffener on it, but it's hard to tell. But do you guys want to go ahead and get started? It's pretty easy. So like I said, the base is herringbone. And then we got some ribbing just for decoration. And this is a type of, like, I don't know, chevron / wave stitch, like I said. But I think it looks cool. Let's do it. Okay, for this particular project, I use Loops and Threads Soft Classic, which is a medium weight number 4, 100% acrylic yarn. You do not have to use this yarn, but any 4-weight yarn will work. I did use 4 colors. Of course, you can use whatever colors you want, and you can use 1 color or you can use 10 colors. It's completely up to you. But the colors that I used were cornflower blue, and then we have navy blue, and then we have toasted almond and taupe. That's the 4 colors that I use. So for the amount of yarn that you need, you're going to need the most of whatever you use for your base and your ribbing. This is what I chose. Probably 100 yards of that one. And maybe, I don't know, just to play it safe, maybe 130 yards of this one. And then probably, I don't know, 75 to 100 yards of the other one. That's probably I'm being very generous on that amount, just so you have enough. It probably won't take quite that much, but you never know. And then the hook I'm using is a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. You guys want to go? Let's do it. All right, so it's worked from the base on up. See, look, I think it would make a pretty cute hat, like the way it is. Basket, hat. Think of all the things that you can make with that. Let's look and see. Oh, this would, like I said, it might though be a little big. It would probably have to be a slouchy. Yeah, 8 inches. It might be slouchy style. If you put a few more rows on the bottom, you'd have a slouchy hat. So look at that. Basket / hat, whatever you want to do with it. So this is what it would look like as a hat. Hey, it's pretty cool. Maybe I'll try it on. Well, I'm not a huge fan of slouchies, so I probably won't do that, but it is an option. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, so we're going to start out with a slip knot on our hook. And you can work the magic circle here if you'd like. But otherwise, I'm going to do a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. Slip stitch like that. And then I'm going to chain 1. Alright, so we're going to be working through the center of this ring, and we're going to be working a double crochet herringbone stitches. And I'll show you how to do those in case you don't know. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch that we just did. So if you want to crochet this tail in as we go along, you can. So we're going to yarn over. This is how you do the double crochet herringbone. Yarn over, go into the loop, and then draw up a loop. Now without doing anything, you take this first loop on your hook and pull it directly through the next loop on your hook, like that. And then we're going to yarn over and go through 1 loop on our hook, and then we're going to yarn over and go through the remaining 2. Now that is a double crochet herringbone. Now we want to do 12 of those through the center of the ring. So let's go ahead and do another. We're going to yarn over and we're going to go into the stitch and draw up a loop. Now you got 3 loops on your hook. Without doing anything, you take this first loop and pull it through the second loop, like that. And then we're going to yarn over and go through 1 loop on your hook and yarn over and go through the remaining 2. So that's 2 double crochet herringbones that we've done. Let's go ahead and do another. We're going to yarn over and we're going to go into the loop and then draw up a loop, and you have 3 loops. Without doing anything, pull the first loop through the second loop. Sorry about that. There you go, like that. Then you're going to yarn over and go through 1 loop, and then we're going to yarn over and go through the remaining 2 loops. So that's 3 herringbones we've done. I'll do it one more time. We're going to yarn over, go through the loop, draw up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. Without doing anything, just pull that first loop through that second loop, like that. Yarn over and go through 1 loop, and then yarn over and go through 2. So that is how we do the double crochet herringbone. So you want to work that all the way around until you get a total of 12. So I have 4 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to complete 12, and I'll meet back up with you at the beginning. Alright, so I've made it to the end of round 1, and I have 12 of the double crochet herringbones. So we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet herringbone, like that, and that'll end round 1. Now if you pull your tail, you should be able to close up that center circle, like that. So round 1 is 12 stitches. Now we're going to go ahead and work round 2. Now in order for the herringbone to look like the herringbone when you're working it into the round, we have to turn our work. So we are going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and we're going to turn our work to the back side. Now we're going to be working 2 double crochet herringbones into every stitch. So we'll go ahead and start into this first one here that we just slip stitched into. Remember, we're working on the back side of our work now. And we're going to yarn over and go into this very first stitch here. And we'll do our double crochet herringbone, just the way we did it before. So remember, you got your 3 loops. First one's always the hardest one. Go through the first one, like that. And then we're going to yarn over and go through 1, and yarn over and go through the remaining 2. Now we want to put 2 of those in each stitch around. So I'm going to go back into that same spot and do another one. Just like that. And then we're going to jump over here to our next stitch. And we will work 2 herringbones into that stitch. There's 1. Back in the same stitch, and you work another. Now, if you've never done these before, they get way easier the more you do. And you'll be able to speed through them quite quickly. So there's 2 in that stitch, and then we're going to work in the next one. And we're going to work 2 into the next one. So round 2 is just 2 double crochet herringbone stitches into every stitch all the way around until you make it back to your starting point. You can see I'm putting 2 in each stitch, jump to the next one, and we work 2 again. There's 1, go into the same stitch again, and there's 2. So I'm going to continue that repeat of 2 into every stitch, and I'll meet back up with you at the beginning. Alright, so I've made it to the end of row 2, and I have 24 of the herringbone stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into my first one, and we will start row 3 by chaining 1, and with the herringbone, remember, we have to turn our work. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start right back into this very first stitch here that we just slip stitched into, and we're only going to do 1 herringbone into that stitch. Remember, the first one is always the hardest one. Well, I think so. There we go. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next stitch, and we're going to put 2 herringbones into the next stitch. There's 1, and back again in the same stitch. That's 2. So that'll be the repeat for round 3. We're going to put 1 herringbone into the next stitch, just 1. And then the next stitch, we'll put 2 herringbones into that one. There's 1, and then 1 more into the same stitch. Here we go, and there's 2. Repeat again, 1 herringbone into the next stitch. That, and then 2 herringbones into the next. So there's 1, and back again. Makes 2. So that's a repeat for round 3. 1 herringbone, 2 herringbone, 1 herringbone, 2 herringbone, all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you at our starting point. Alright, so I come to the end of round 3, and you should have a total of 36 stitches now. Your last stitch should have had 2 herringbone stitches in it, and we're going to go ahead and by slip stitching into our first stitch, chain 1 and turn, and we'll begin round 4. So we're going to go back into the same stitch right here that we just slip stitched into, and we're going to put 1 herringbone into it. Remember, I always do the first one slow because that's always the hardest one, especially doing a herringbone. All right, so there's 1. Now the next one is just going to get 1 herringbone into it. So that was 2 herringbones that we did in a row, and then the next stitch we'll get 2 herringbones into the same stitch. So there's 1. And 2. So that'll be the repeat for round 4. 1 herringbone in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 in that one, and then 1 in the next one, and then the next stitch we'll get 2 herringbones into the same stitch. Just like that. And then we will repeat that again. 1 herringbone in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1. Go to the next one. Put another one. So you got your 2, and then the next stitch you'll get 2 herringbones into the same stitch. So there's 1, and go back into the same one. And that is 2. And that's the repeat. Now we're going to repeat pattern for round 4. 1 herringbone, 1 herringbone, 2 herringbones. 1 herringbone, 1 herringbone, 2 herringbones, all the way around until we get back to our starting point. Alright, so I come to the end of row 4, and you should have 48 stitches now. you should have ended with 2 herringbones, and we're going to slip stitch into our first one. And we're beginning round 5 by chaining 1 and turning our work. And we're going to do a herringbone into the first 3 stitches, and then 2 herringbones into the next. So we always do our first one right here where we just slip stitched. All right, and then 1 into the next stitch. One into the next stitch. And then the next stitch we'll get 2 herringbones into the same stitch. So there's 1, back into the same stitch. It makes 2. And that's what we're going to repeat now. For row 5, 1 herringbone into the next 3 stitches. There's 1. Go to the next one. There's 2. Go to the next one. There's 3. And then the next one gets 2 herringbones into the same stitch. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around for round 5. 3 herringbones in a row, and then 2 herringbones into the next. 3 herringbones, and then 2 herringbones into the next. And I'll meet back up with you at the beginning. Alright, so I made it to the end of round 5, and you should have a total of 60 stitches. You should have ended with 2 herringbones there in your last stitch. And we'll go ahead and slip stitch into our first. For row 6, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do the herringbone again, but this time there will be no increasing. We will not be putting 2 herringbone stitches in any of the stitches. It's just going to be 1 herringbone in every stitch all the way around, starting with this very first one. It always gives me trouble. Alright, and then 1 herringbone in every single stitch for round 6 until we make it back around to our starting point. So remember, there's no increasing on this round. It's just 1 in every stitch for round 6. And I will meet back up with you when we make it back to the end, and we still should have 60 stitches when we make it back around. Alright, I made it to the end of round 6, and I still have 60 stitches. It's okay if it's looking wavy. We won't worry about that. So we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet or herringbone. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do 1 more row of herringbone stitches, 1 in each stitch. So starting with the very first one, and we do our herringbone in it. So row 7 is just a repeat of what we did on row 6, which is 1 herringbone into every stitch all the way around. And when you make it back around, you still should have your 60 stitches. And I'll meet back up with you when I make it back to my starting point. Alright, so I come to the end of row 7, and I still have my 60 stitches. Let's go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first herringbone stitch. Now if you look at your work, it's going to look a little wavy and funky. That's okay. Alright, it will look normal. Sometimes you just, you just got to roll with it and trust the process. Alright, let's start row 8. You can change colors whenever you want, however often you'd like. I'm going to use this color here. for one more row. Now what we're going to do is, we're not going to do the herringbone now. We're going to work a front post single crochet in every stitch. And this is going to create a ridge. So I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to go back around this very first stitch. Now the very first one, you have to kind of go around that chain 1 and the herringbone from the previous row, and we go from behind and we go around the post, and we do a front post single crochet like that. Now we're going to work, I'm sorry, back post single crochet, back post, back post, back post. No front post, we're working back post. And I'm going to work a back post single crochet around the post of every stitch all the way around. So you can see I'm going in from the back and then back around the post of the herringbone and working a back post single crochet around every stitch. And this creates a nice ridge effect, and I'll show you how here. So let me do a few more. Just going right around the post of every stitch and working the back post single crochet. Now, let me stop here. When you look at your work now, if you've done a few, you'll be able to see that there is a bit of a ridge here. Now, there's the back post single crochet is set back here, and that's where we'll work our next row of stitches back here, and this will kind of pop out as a ridge. We won't work into it at all, so it's just kind of some added texture that we're going to do, or that we're adding to it. So I'm going to continue around working one back post single crochet around every stitch until I make it back to my starting point, and there you should still have 60 stitches. That's our magic number. Alright, I think I might switch colors after this, so I'll meet back up with you at the starting point. Alright, so I've made it to the end of row 8, and again, you know, it's still looking funky. It's looking funny. It's okay though, I promise. I promise. You got this too. You can do it. Sometimes it takes to the very last row for one of your crochet projects to look the way that it's supposed to look. It really does. So once you make it all the way around and you're back to your starting point and you have 60 stitches, go ahead and slip stitch into your first back post single crochet, and I am going to change colors. So when I change colors, I like to tie off. You can change it however you like, but I'm going to tie off and I'm going to bring in a new color, and I'm going to start it right there and in the same spot that I just finished in. So I'm going to bring in some blue. Okay, so now remember, we're not working in this front ridge here. We're working back here into this back ridge. So if it helps to flip your work just a little bit like that, that's fine. Do what you have to do. But I'm going to start right here into the stitch that we just slip stitched into. I'm going to pull my new color through, and I like to tie the big no-no knots. I don't care. I don't care. I'm knotting it up. There we go. That way we don't slip away. Now I can crochet them in as I go, if I want, or I can hide them later. I think I would prefer to just crochet them in as I go. Alright, so this is row, let's see, row 9 that we're on. So what we're going to do is chain 1, and we are going to start, excuse me, with a single crochet right back into that very first stitch that we started in. Like that. All right, remember, back ridge is where we're working. So this front ridge here, it's nothing, all right? It's decor only, So if you need to pull it back, that's fine. All right, next stitch, is going to get, make sure you get the next one, it's pretty close to the first one, a half double crochet into that stitch. The next stitch, a double crochet into the next. Like that. So we got a single, a half double, a double. And then in the next stitch, we are going to work 3 triple crochets in that same stitch. So for the triple, we yarn over twice and we go into the stitch and draw up a loop. And you know you got 4 loops, so we're going to yarn over and go through the first 2, yarn over and go through the next 2, and yarn over and go through the remaining 2. That's why they call it a triple, because you yarn over and go through 2 stitches on your loop 3 times. All right, now we need to do that. We need to put 3 of those into that same stitch. So that was 1. Do it again, yarn over twice, go back into the same stitch, triple crochet. There's 1, yarn over, go through the next 2, that's 2, yarn over into the next 2, that's 3 times to make the triple. 1 more triple crochet into the same stitch. Just like that. All right, so that's what we got so far. So we did the single, half double, double, 3 triples into 1 stitch. Now we are going to go back down and work a double into the next, a half double into the next, like that. And then we start again with a single into the next. So we just do this again, starting with the single. And we just made the single. So again, we're going to do it again. That ridge is really getting in my way. All right, so we did the single. We're going to half double into the next, double into the next, and then the next stitch gets 3 triple crochets into the same stitch. So there's 1, that's 2, and 3 triples into the same. And then we're going to go back down and we're going to work a double into the next, and a half double into the next. And then we start again by working a single into the next and repeat a half double into the next, a double into the next, 3 triples into the next. There's 1, 2, and here's 3, and then go back down and it's a double into the next, a half double into the next, and then we start again with a single into the next. So this is what we're going to repeat all the way around. And now if you look, you can see that ridge poking out a little bit better. So I'm just going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my starting point. All right, so I've made it all the way around here, and you should have ended with a half double crochet. Should have been your last stitch. This right here is not a stitch here. That's a chain 1 from the previous row. We're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first single crochet that we did. So you'll have more than 60 stitches this time around because we put 3 triple crochets in the stitches. But what you will have is 10 of these points. 1, 2, or shells, or whatever you want to call them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, I'm going to switch colors, so I'm going to tie off. All right, and then I'm going to start a new color right here where I just tied off. All right, I'm going to pull it through that exact same stitch here that I just started in. I don't even know what row we're on. 8, 9. Okay, we're starting row 10. If I remember right. Into that same stitch that I just slip stitched into. I'm going to pull my yarn through. And I'm going to do the knot. All right. Okay. All right. Here's how we're going to start the next row. Remember, you don't have to change colors. You can change colors as often as you like. It is completely up to you. So we're going to work, I'm going to chain 1. All right, and I'm going to go back into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into, the same one we just started in, and single crochet. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch up until we get to the middle triple crochet of this group of 3 triple crochets from the previous row. So you're actually going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one will be the middle. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. That's 1, and then the next one we're going to single crochet. That's 2, and next one will be 3, the next one will be 4, and then the next one, the 5th one, is going to be the middle single crochet of the group of 3 from that previous row. And what we want to do in that group of 3 is 3 single crochets into that middle stitch of that group of 3. So we're just going to go right into it, and we're going to put 3 single crochets into it. There's 1, there's 2, and there is 3, just like that. Now we're going to work down 1, 2 more stitches. All right, so single crochet into the next 2. There's 1, and there's 2. Now we're going to put a single crochet 3 together in this valley here, or this dip. I got you. It's easy, all right? You can do this. So we're working in this half double crochet from the previous row, this single crochet from the previous row, and this half double crochet over here from the previous row. All right, so this is where I'm going to start my yarn now. So here's where we just ended. We slip stitch into the single crochet. I'm going to start my yarn in this is the single that we just ended in. The next one is a half double. I'm going to start my yarn into this double crochet right here, okay? That's very important that you start your yarn there. And what we're going to do is chain 1. Now I'm going to put a single crochet back into the same stitch, like that. And then I'm going to put a single crochet into the next stitch. So that was 2 single crochets we just did in a row. Now if you look, the next stitch is going to be the middle stitch of this group of 3 triple crochets from the previous row. So that middle one, that's where we're at. And in that middle one, we want to work 3 single crochets all into that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to put a single crochet into the next 2. All right, again, there's 1 single crochet in that one, and then 1 single crochet into the next. And now we're going to be working into this little valley right here. And we're going to work a single crochet 3 together. Don't worry if you've never done it. It's easy peasy. I'm going to show you how to do it. So here's the half double from the previous row. Here's the single crochet from the previous row, and here is the half double from the previous row. We need to take those 3 stitches, single crochet them together, and turn them into 1 stitch. All right, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go into the half double and draw up a loop, and then we're going to go into the single and draw up a loop, and then we're going to go into the next half double and draw up a loop. You'll have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and go through all 4 loops. So we just took those 3 stitches, 1 2 3, and turned them into 1. That's what we want to do. And now we're going to repeat what we just did, starting by putting 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there is 1 and there is 2. And now when you look, you will be in the middle. The next stitch will be the middle triple crochet of the group of 3 from the previous row. So we're going to put 3 single crochets into that. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to put a single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there is 1 into that one. Sorry, I got my arm resting on a ball of yarn. All right, and there's 1 into that one, and now we're down into the valley again. Down here into the valley. So we're going to do the single crochet 3 together into this half double, this single, into this half double. Here we go. We're going to go into the half double. We're going to draw up a loop. We're going to go into the single. We're going to draw up a loop. And then we're going to go into the half double. And we're going to draw up a loop. We got 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and go through all 4. That took 3 stitches and turned it into 1. And then we're going to repeat this process all the way around. So again, 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and there's 2. Now the next stitch that we work in will be the middle triple crochet from the previous row, and that gets 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 2. There's 1 and there's 2, and then we're going to do our single crochet 3 together, this half double, this single, and this half double down here in this dip or this valley. Let's do it. Let's go into the half double, draw up a loop, into the single, draw up a loop, into the next half double, draw up a loop, 4 loops, yarn over and go through all 4, just like that. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around until we make it. I'll meet back up with you here at this last shell, and I'll show you how we're going to end this round. Alright, so I'm coming near the end, and I just did 3 single crochets in the middle triple crochet from the previous row. So I'm going to do a single crochet into the next 2, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to end. We're just going to end by doing a single crochet 3 together, 1 into this half double, 1 into this single crochet, and 1 into this half double. All right, so into the half double, drop a loop, into the single, drop a loop, into the half double, drop a loop, 4 loops, yarn over and go through all 4. And now we're going to end by slip stitching into our first single crochet. I'm going to tie up, and I am going to change colors here. All right, so that's what we got so far. That is what it's starting to kind of look like. Weird kind of. Let's hope it works, huh? Okay, let me cut off these tails here. So, Okay, now we're going to start row 11. I'm going to switch colors again. I'm doing it again. I'm doing some dark blue, okay? Let's go with the dark blue. Remember, you change colors whenever you want. Make it solid if you choose. I always say, you do you, I do me. Because we're one crochet happy family, right? Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to start our yarn. All right, here is where we ended. All right, we did the single crochet 3 together, and then we ended in a slip stitch right here into this stitch. We're going to start a yarn in the next one over. Okay, very important that you start your yarn right here, and you're going to pull it through. Okay, and we are going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. We are going to go back into that very first stitch and double crochet. I apologize, my yarn is a little dark, a little darker than I thought it would be on the camera. It's okay, we're doing a double crochet there, and in the next stitch we are doing a half double crochet, half double, and in the next stitch, which will be the center single crochet from the previous row, when we put 3 single crochets into that triple, it's going to be the center single crochet. And what we're going to do is put 1 single crochet into it. Just like that. And then we are going to work a half double crochet into the next stitch, a double crochet into the next stitch. And now what we're going to do is a triple crochet 3 together right here in this valley. Don't worry, I got you. It's not hard. So we're going to be working in this single crochet here, this single crochet 3 together, and then this single crochet after. And we're going to turn all of them into 1 stitch. So we're going to yarn over twice like we're going to do a triple crochet. We're going to go into the next stitch and draw up a loop and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. And then we're going to yarn over and go through the next 2 loops on our hook. All right, then we're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to go into that where we did 3 single crochets together, draw up a loop, and we're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook, and yarn over and go through the next 2 loops on our hook. Got 3 loops on our hook now. Again, we're going to yarn over twice, one more time, and go into the next stitch. Draw up a loop. We're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and go through the next 2 loops on our hook, and that will leave 4 that remains. We're going to yarn over and go through all 4. There it is. Triple crochet 3 together. How easy was that? See, what we're doing is we're straightening off the valley here, and the dips and the valleys and the peaks and the highs. All right, we're going to start again now. Here we go. So we're going to put a double crochet into the next stitch. 1 double. And then we're going to do a half double into the next stitch. And in the next stitch, which will be the center single crochet from the previous row, we're going to put a single crochet into it. Just like that. And then we're going to kind of repeat what we just did over here. We're going to do a half double crochet. And then we're going to do a double crochet. And then we're going to do our triple crochet, 3 together. In this single, in this single crochet 3 together, and in this single. Are you ready? You're ready. We're going to yarn over twice. We're going to go into that stitch. We're going to draw up a loop. So you got 4 loops. We're going to yarn over and go through the first 2, and we're going to yarn over and go through the next 2. That leaves us with 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over twice and go into that single crochet 3 together and draw up a loop. We're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and go through the next 2 loops on our hook. That leaves us with 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over twice and go into the next stitch, draw up a loop. We're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and go through the next 2 loops on our hook. That leaves us with 4 loops. Yarn over and go through all 4 loops, and you did it. There it is. Again. How cool is that? Pretty dang cool, if you ask me. Then we're going to repeat. So we are going to do a double crochet into the next stitch, a half double into the next stitch, and the next stitch will be the center single crochet from the previous row, and we're going to single crochet into it. And then we're going to go back down and we're going to half double crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to double crochet into the next stitch, and then one more time we're going to do our triple crochet 3 together. So we're going to yarn over twice. We're going to go into the next stitch, draw up a loop. We're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, and we're going to yarn over and go through the next 2 loops, which leaves 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over twice and go into that single crochet 3 together from the previous row and draw up a loop. We're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, yarn over and go through the next 2 loops, which leaves us 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over twice and go into the next stitch and draw up a loop. Yarn over and go through the first 2, yarn over and go through in the next 2. We have 4 loops that remain. Yarn over and go through all 4, and we did it again. And we are just going to repeat. Double crochet into the next, half double crochet into the next, single crochet into the next, and then we work back down, half double crochet into the next, double crochet into the next, and then we do our triple crochet 3 together over the next 3. So I am going to continue this pattern that we've been doing until I make it around. Finish this out real quick. Boom. Ooh, that looks nice. All right, I'll meet back up with you up here at the peak of this last thingamajig here. All right. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 11. I do believe we're on 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I just did a single crochet right here at the top of this peak, the middle single crochet of this group of 3 from the previous row. So I'm gonna half double into the next stitch like that. I'm going to double into the next stitch, and I'm going to end by doing a triple crochet 3 together in the remaining 3 stitches. So just a triple crochet 3 together into the remaining 3, just like we did before. That's why it was important to start your yarn at those specific spots. That way we could get these endings correct here. 4 loops. I'm going to yarn over and go through all 4, And then I am going to slip stitch into my first double crochet, and I am changing yarn colors again. Did it. We did it. Alright, so now I'm going to bring this brown in, and you can start in any stitch that you want. I think I'll just start in this where we triple crochet 3 together here, and I'm going to do a row of single crochet with this color. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to go back into that stitch and single crochet. Now I'm going to work around, and I'm going to be putting one single single crochet in every stitch. Now when you get around, you should have a total of, you should be back to 60 stitches. All right, so just go ahead and work one single in every stitch all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you after this round. Try to see that dark color in it. Alright, see you at the beginning. Alright, so I've made it to the end of 8, 9, around 12. So I'm going to go ahead and end with the slip stitch into my first single crochet, and I have 60 stitches. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this color on my hook for round 13, is I'm going to kind of repeat what I just did starting from row 8. So I'm going to do a row of ribbing, and then I'm going to do this row again, and this row again, and this row again. So round 13 is going to be back post single crochet. So I'm going to chain 1, the first one, and I'm going to do the back post single crochet in that stitch, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to work the back post single crochet in every stitch around, which will create the rib again. So one back post single in every stitch until we make it back around to our starting point. Alright, so I made it all the way around, and I'm ending with the slip stitch into my first back post single crochet, and I'm going to switch colors here. Remember, it's important that you have your 60 stitches here. Alright, so now I'm going to repeat this light blue row. I was going to do dark, but I changed my mind. Alright, I'm going to try to get it kind of semi-lined up to this one. Now we kind of went every which way. Working this in a round is a little bit more difficult than the back and forth method, because you got to start and stop at different spots. If I was working it back and forth, it'd be easy to tell where it needs to go. So what I'm going to do here is kind of just look around here and see a good place that I can start my yarn. So I'm going to follow this up. I'm going to say, remember, now we're going to be working in these back loops. This front rib stays unworked. So I'm going to, this is the third triple crochet where we put 3 triple crochets in one stitch. I'm just going to follow it up the best I can. Alright, I'm going to say that the third triple crochet is going to go there, but that's not where I need to start. I need to start 3 stitches back from that. So I'm going to start right there. I think that's the easiest way to try to find and hope that that's in the correct spot. Alright, let's give it a go, I guess. See what it looks like. You can actually start and stop wherever you want, but I was just trying to keep them lined up a little bit. Alright, chain 1. Now we're just repeating what we did down here. So we're going to go back into that same stitch and we're going to single crochet. Remember, we're working back here, not up here. Okay, and then we're going to do a half double crochet, a double crochet, and then 3 triple crochets into the next stitch. There's 1, 2, and 3 triples, and then we're going to do a double, a half double, and then we are going to do a single like that. And then we would start again with the half double, double, and 3 triples into the next. There's 1, 2, 3, and then we go back down and work a double, half double, and a single. Let me see if these look lined up. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. That don't look too bad, so I'm just going to keep repeating this pattern around. So I got my single. So again, I would do half double like that, and then a double, and then 3 triples into the same stitch. There's 1, 2, 3, work it down, double, half double, and start again with the single. Alright, so I made it all the way around, and your last stitch should have been a half double crochet. And we'll go ahead and end in the first single crochet, and I am going to change colors again. I'm going to go to that white yarn to do that white row here. So now remember, we got to start these on. It's not even white. I keep saying white. It's brown. It's brown. It's tan. Alright. So this one has to be started in a certain spot. Alright, here's where we ended. Right here. We're not going to start in that stitch, and we're not going to start in the half double next to it. We're going to start in this stitch right here. And it's very important that you start in that stitch, because we will have to do that single crochet 3 together across this dip right here. Alright, or that valley. So here's where we just ended, single crochet. Here's the half double. We're going to start in this stitch right here. So go ahead and start your yarn, chain 1, and we're going to single crochet into the next this stitch, back into that same stitch, and then the next stitch. That'll be 2 in a row. Now the next stitch, again, just like before, should be the middle triple crochet of that group of 3, and it gets 3 single crochets in it. There's 1, 2, and 3. Remember, we're just repeating this down here. Now we're going to single crochet into the next 2. There's 1, and there's 2, and now we're going to do the single crochet 2 together over this half double, this single, and this half double. So just like before, go into that half double, drop a loop, into the single, drop a loop, into the next half double, drop a loop, 4 loops, yarn over and go through all 4, just like that. And then we repeat again. We're going to single crochet in the next 2. There's 1 and 2, and then the next one should be the middle stitch of the group of 3 triples, so we're going to put 3 single crochets into that. Single crochet into the next 2. There's 1 and there's 2, and then single crochet the next 3 together, this half double, that single, and this half double. Just like that. And this is what I am going to repeat all the way around. It's the same thing that we did down here. I'm just doing it again. Alright, when you make it back around, you have to end with a single crochet 3 together of the last 3 stitches. So, would be that half double there, the single, and the half double, yarn over, go through all 4, and then slip stitch into the first single crochet. I am going to switch yarn colors back to my navy blue, and we have to start this in a certain spot as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look for, here's where we just stopped. We're going to look for where we put 3 single crochets into the stitch, and there's the middle one, and then we're going to go back and start 2 back from that. So here's the middle one, go back 1 and then 1 more, and this is where we're going to start. Okay, 2 back from that middle single crochet, and we'll go ahead and start our yarn there. And we're going to do the same thing here that we did right here. Same thing. So we will chain 1, go back into the same stitch and double crochet, half double into the next, and then the next stitch should be that middle single crochet of that group of 3, and we're just going to single crochet into it. Now we're going to half double into the next, double into the next, and then we're going to be working in this valley down here, doing the triple crochet 3 together, just like we did down here. So that's where we yarn over twice, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over and go through the next 2 loops. Yarn over twice, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, yarn over and go through the next 2 loops. One more time, yarn over twice, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, yarn over and go through the next 2 loops. 4 loops remain, yarn over and go through all 4 loops, and then we start again with a double crochet into the next stitch, a half double into the next, and a single into the next. Repeat it down, half double into the next, double into the next, and then the triple crochet 3 together right here in this valley over the 3 stitches. So like I said, it's just a repeat of this row right here. So I'm triple crocheting 3 together right now. That, and then we start again, repeating this all the way around. Double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, then you go back down with a half double crochet, double crochet, and then triple crochet, 3 together in this valley of the next 3 stitches. All right, so I'm going to repeat this all the way around. All right, I made it all the way around. My last stitch was a triple crochet 3 together, and I ended with the slip stitch into my first stitch, just like we did down here. Clip that off and switch colors. We're gonna go with the brown again, and I'm gonna do a row of single crochet. Now you can start anywhere that you'd like. You'll have go and pull your yarn through 60 single crochets once you make it back around. So we're just doing a row of single crochet, 1 in every stitch. So I chained 1, and I'm going to go back in that same stitch and a single crochet. Now I'm going to work around. I'm going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch till I make it back to my starting point. Remember, you should have 60 stitches or 60 singles when you make it back around. Alright, I made it all the way around, 60 stitches. I'm going to end with the slip stitch into my first single crochet, and I'm going to do a row of ribbing. You don't have to, but I'm going to do the ribbing to kind of line it up, I guess. So, chain 1, and now I'm going to be doing a back post single crochet in every stitch around. I do not like the first one. It is always the hardest for me. Well, anyways. Just back post single crochet in every stitch around, just like we did here and here. And I'll meet back up with you at the beginning. Alright, so I made it around, and I ended with the slip stitch in my first single crochet. I'm going to tie this off, and I'm going to do one more thing. And then you can do more if you want, or whatever you want to do. But I'm going to go around it with a row of single crochet of my lightest color. So I'm going to leave this rib unworked, so I'm going to start back here and just single crochet around, 1 in every stitch, just 1 time. So I'm going to chain 1, go back into that same stitch, oops, and single crochet, and I'm going to work around just putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I make it back to my starting point. So I should have 60 when I make it back around, or close to it. If it isn't exact, it's okay. It's the last row. It doesn't matter anymore. Alright, I'll meet back up with you at the end. Alright, there it is. Once it's finished, I think it's pretty cute. Do lots of stuff with it. If you want to make it stiffer, you can use fabric spray stiffener or something like that. Otherwise, I mean, it's standing really well on its own, but like I said, if you want to make it stiffer, sure, if I think fabric stiffener would work well, but it's adorbs. I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye, guys.